today I'm going to be doing my August wrap-up video. I'm going to show you all the books I read this month and tell you what I thought about them. This month I was in a major reading slump and I started like 7 books in one day that none of them really, I couldn't really get into any of them and it was very frustrating, but I still managed to read a fair amount of books and I really enjoyed the ones I did read. I was just not very happy with a lot of the books I started. Okay, so the first book I read is The Luminous Life of Lily Aphrodite by Beatrice Collin, and this book is set during the Second World War, and it's centered around Lily Nelly Aphrodite, who and it's kind of like her life story. She is an orphan, and you see her time in the orphanage, and you see how she kind of gets by with a couple sketchy jobs, and she ends up being a really famous actress, and it's actually really interesting because, I mean, I did learn about World War II in history class, but this is kind of like almost like a case study. It almost shows you just like, it takes one person and shows their life during that time, and it's really interesting. It's kind of heartbreaking at times, and it did make me feel really sad for her because she didn't have an easy life. Even though this is fiction, I really felt for her, and if you want kind of to find out more about World War II and what life was like during World War II in an interesting way, then go pick up this book. It's really well written and I really enjoyed it. The next book I read is No Humans Involved by Kelly Armstrong. I already mentioned this in like a book haul video, I think. I didn't like them. This book is part of the Women of the Other World series. I think there's like 13 books in that series, and this is book number 7. I didn't enjoy this one, but they're all about different women in that one world. It's basically supernatural, like there's, I don't know, for example, this book is about Jamie Vegas, and she's a medium, so she can talk to spirits and ghosts. And this one was pretty bad. I did read book number 8, Personal Demon, as well. This one was much better. The protagonist of this book is Hope Adams, and she's a half-demon, and it's just much more interesting. And then I also read Waking the Witch, which is book number 12 from that same series. Also a better book than No Humans Involved. The series in general is nothing special. It's not a very unique idea. It really reminded me of the Night World series by Liza J. Smith, because it's kind of the same premise, sort of. There was always an element of crime in every book. That was quite interesting, but overall I wasn't too blown away by it. It was fun to read, but again, nothing really special. The next book I read is The Short Second Life of Bree by Stephanie Meyer. I picked this up because it was literally dirt cheap, and I thought I kind of want this in my collection, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna read it, but it's literally like 200 now, like 176 pages long, so it took me like a few hours to do. I mean, I didn't really have high expectations of it, obviously. One thing though, dear Stephanie Meyer, 176 pages is not enough for a love story. That's all, yeah. It's not very, it's an eclipse novella, what can you expect? No, I didn't like it. Let's put it that way. The next book I read, I don't have with me. I just have the dust jacket because my sister is reading it right now, and that's Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. Oh my god, let me tell you. This book is so good. Oh my god, I loved it so much. I mean, I already really loved Daughter of Smoke and Bone, and this one was just a perfect sequel. It's just really good. It's a really captivating, a really interesting story. It's very unique, and I really cared for the characters. I was rooting for them the entire time. There were a couple like twists that were so well done. There was like one point in the story where Karou does something that I thought was horrible. And I was screaming at like the book. I was like, Laini Taylor, I'm going to find you and I will kill you. Seriously. But it resolved really well. That was the point where I thought I don't like Haru anymore. If that's the decision she made in this situation, I don't like her anymore. But then it was resolved in such a way, it's beautifully written. I've already mentioned I love the language Laini Taylor uses. She's an amazing author and an amazing writer. You should definitely check out this series if you haven't already. And the last books I read this month, I can't physically show you because I rented them from the library. There's 6 of them and they're the entire Vampire Academy series. Let's see if I can remember the titles. Vampire Academy, Frostbite, Shadow Kiss, Blood Promise, Spiritbound, and Last Sacrifice. I think that's it. I hope the order was correct. By Rochelle Mead. Yeah, I read them because Katie Tastic was saying that they're so good, and I really enjoyed them. I mean, they're like your typical standard vampire books. They really reminded me of the House of Night series by PC and Kristen Cast, because the premise is very similar, and there's similar elements to it, like dead people returning. When that happened, I was like, are you serious? But it was fine. It wasn't resolved the same way. And there's a lot of elements to this story that are different from Marked, so I was okay with it. I hated book 4. Book 4 was a mess. It's just kind of everything falls apart, and I read it on a cloudy day, and that was just made my mood was down the hill, like way down. But overall, I really enjoyed the series. The end was okay. I liked the love story. I was okay with it. I really breezed through this series. It took me like 4 or 5 days to read the entire thing. Yeah, I didn't really have a social life during that time. But one thing that bothered me was that, like every book, we would get basically a summary of what happened in the previous books. That was pretty annoying. Maybe because I read them so back to back, that could be the reason why. But yeah, I was kind of like, oh, again, let's just skip that entire passage because I already read that like 3 times before. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm going to see you guys soon. Bye!